have probably met someone like this. The person who finishes your sentences before you do. The one who sees patterns everywhere, who gets bored in conversations, who was called too much as a child. They are not trying to be difficult. Their brain simply works differently. And most people, including them, have never fully understood why. But here is what you need to understand. This is not about being smart. This is about something inside them that most people will never see. And if you keep watching, you might finally understand someone you know, or yourself. Keep watching. People with extremely high IQ do not experience the world the way others do. While the average person processes information like a quiet stream, their mind is more like a storm. Multiple thoughts, connections, and conclusions arriving simultaneously. This is not a choice. It is the default setting. Psychologists call this overexcitability, a term coined by Kazimierz Dabrowski. It means heightened intensity in how a person experiences almost everything. Thoughts are faster, emotions are deeper, senses are sharper, and the world is not built for this. Have you ever felt like your brain never shuts off? Like you are always thinking about something, even when you want to rest? If yes, you already know what I'm about to say. If no, you're about to discover something that will change how you see the quiet people in your life. Do not scroll away. The next part is where it gets real. The most common struggle for high IQ individuals is not solving problems. It is explaining their thinking to others. When you see connections instantly, when you have already run 12 scenarios in the time it takes someone to finish their first sentence, communication becomes exhausting. You learn to slow down, to simplify, to pretend you are not as fast as you are. This is called masking, and it is a form of mental labor that nobody sees. Research in cognitive psychology shows that high IQ individuals often underperform in social settings, not because they lack social skills, but because they are constantly translating their internal experience into a language others can understand. This translation takes energy. A lot of energy. You think having a high IQ is an advantage? Wrong. Completely wrong. What is really happening inside their heads is far more complicated. And the most surprising part? Most of them wish they were average. Stay with me. I will explain why. There is also the problem of pattern recognition. High IQ individuals see cause and effect everywhere. They predict outcomes. They notice inconsistencies. This sounds useful, and it is, but it comes with a cost. Seeing the ending of a movie within the first 10 minutes makes entertainment frustrating. Predicting that a relationship will fail makes trust difficult. Knowing that a project at work is doomed makes motivation nearly impossible. The world becomes predictable in ways that feel isolating. Psychologists call this the intelligence paradox. Higher cognitive ability correlates with lower satisfaction in routine activities because the brain craves novelty and complexity that everyday life rarely provides. That feeling you just had, that small recognition, that is exactly what separates high IQ individuals from everyone else. And psychologists have a name for it. But here is what most people never realize about this trait. It is not a superpower. It is a survival mechanism. Do not skip this next part because it explains everything. Here is something rarely discussed. Many people with extremely high IQ struggle with a persistent sense of not belonging. They were the child who read alone during recess, the adult who feels more comfortable with ideas than with people. This is not social anxiety in the traditional sense. It is a mismatch between their processing speed and the world's pace. Imagine trying to have a conversation when you are already thinking about the next 3 topics before the first one is finished. You learn to withdraw. Not because you dislike people, but because interaction feels slow. Research published in the British Journal of Psychology found that higher intelligence is associated with lower life satisfaction when social interaction is frequent. Intelligent people actually prefer less socializing because they find meaningful conversation rare. This is the moment where most people would scroll away. But you are still here, and you are still here because something in you recognizes what comes next. Do not skip this. What I am about to tell you might be the most accurate description of the high IQ mind you have ever heard. The educational system is particularly unforgiving to high IQ children. A gifted child finishes their work in 5 minutes and then sits, bored for the remaining 30. They are told to slow down, to wait for others, to not show off. The message they internalize is that their natural pace is wrong, so they learn to hide their ability. They learn to underperform. This is called intellectual inhibition, and its effects last a lifetime. Many adults with high IQ carry a quiet resentment toward school, not because they hated learning, but because they loved it and were punished for loving it too much. Let me ask you something. Were you ever told you asked too many questions? That you thought too much? That you needed to be more normal? That is not random. That is a signal that your brain was ahead of its environment. And if that happened to you, the next 60 seconds will change how you see your entire childhood. Stay with me. There is a loneliness that comes with high IQ that almost never gets discussed. It is the loneliness of never being fully understood. When you explain how you arrived at a conclusion and the other person looks at you blankly, something inside you closes a little. You learn to keep your thoughts to yourself. You learn that sharing your inner world leads to confusion, not connection. And over time, you stop trying. This is why many high IQ individuals describe feeling like they are performing a version of themselves in public and only fully existing when alone. Something just shifted inside you. That memory of being misunderstood. That feeling of being too much for people. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Stay with me for 2 more minutes. The next part is about why this loneliness is actually protecting you. But here is the paradox. The same brain that creates loneliness also creates extraordinary capability. High IQ individuals are often exceptional at crisis management. When everything goes wrong, when others panic, their mind becomes calm. They see solutions. They execute plans. The chaos that paralyzes others organizes itself inside their head. This is why many first responders, emergency room doctors, and disaster recovery specialists have above-average intelligence. Their brains are wired to find order in disorder. The research in cognitive neuroscience shows that high IQ individuals have more efficient neural pathways. They use less brain activity to solve the same problems. This efficiency is a gift and a curse. Gift, because it makes them capable. Curse, because it makes routine unbearable. You are probably wondering where all of this is going. I will tell you. It is going directly to something inside you that you have never fully seen. And the next 90 seconds will either make you feel completely understood or will help you understand someone you love. Do not scroll. There's also the question of emotion. For years, people believed that high IQ meant low emotional intelligence. That is not true. What looks like coldness is often overwhelm. When you feel everything deeply, when your empathy runs intense, you learn to build walls. Not because you do not care, but because caring too much is exhausting. The high IQ individual, who seems detached, is often the one who feels the most. They have simply learned that feeling everything all the time is not sustainable, so they protect themselves. And the world mistakes this protection for indifference. This war is still happening, inside them, inside everyone who ever felt like their brain was running on a different operating system. Who wins? Keep watching. The answer will surprise you. So what does the research actually say about happiness and high IQ? The answer is complicated. High IQ individuals experience lower satisfaction in ordinary daily activities. The small talk, the routine tasks, the predictable conversations that bring comfort to most people feel draining to them. But they experience higher satisfaction in moments of discovery, in solving novel problems, in deep work, in intellectual connection. They are not less happy overall. They are happy differently. The things that bring joy to others do not work for them, and the things that bring them joy are harder to find. You have figured it out by now. This was never about IQ scores. It was always about the human being behind the number. And here is the truth that no one tells you. The question is not whether high IQ makes life easier or harder. The question is what it means to live in a world that was not built for your brain. If you have an extremely high IQ, you have probably learned to hide it, to apologize for it, to make yourself smaller so others feel comfortable. But here is the truth. The world needs your brain. It needs people who see what others miss. who solve what others abandon, who think about tomorrow while everyone else is stuck in today. The loneliness is real. The frustration is real. But so is your capability. Because what makes you different is not a flaw. It is a feature. And that is a question only you can answer.